1676, and it is 100 years before your Revolutionary War. I am a loyalist, God save the King, and I would like to introduce you to you my dear husband, Colonel Thomas Ballard.
Good evening. I would like to discuss with you a little bit this evening as we celebrate America's 250th anniversary. I have a copy of your Declaration of Independence. I am born in Kent, England in 1630. My name is Thomas Ballard. And what I want to do is I want to try to give you a little bit of history of what led up prior to the Civil War, to your Revolutionary War. And it was a good 125 years. But there are so many mitigating factors that led to this moment, which eventually led to the revolution. I myself served in the first House of Burgesses. I was also elected Speaker of the House. I was the High Sheriff in county in Virginia. I was also a prosecutor and a tax collector. So I wore many hats. But what I'd like to discuss with you this evening, the things that led to the American Revolution. Prior to the Declaration of Independence from England, in the year 1676, there was a group, and you may have remembered your history, called Bacon's Rebellion, which took place at Yorktown. I also am one of the founders of Yorktown. I am credited with the establishment of Yorktown. My ancestors went from loyalists to patriots. And we're going to get into that for a little bit of my family history. We settled the town. I arrived in the States via the ship named George, and that was in 1635. I met Anna. She was born in Berkshire, England, and we immigrated here, and then we married. We have 11 children, which has spanned many generations. You may have Ballards in your line, you may not. There are many, many famous Ballards. Betty's maiden name, or Anna's maiden name, was Thomas. We also have Ellisons, Englishes, Keatons. Those are all part of the old English settlements from the area. But in 1676, prior to that, I had sold a tract of land. I owned 330 acres of prime land, which was called Middle Plantation. And it was located what is today Colonial Williamsburg. That was my family's plantation. The land where William and Mary College was built was sold by my son, Thomas Ballard Jr., upon my death, was sold, and they built the College of William and Mary, named after the King and Queen of England at that time. The college was designed to educate Indian and poor blacks. It is the second oldest university in the United States that's still active, second only to Harvard. But prior to that, Nathaniel Bacon had an uprising. The governor at the time was loyal to King Charles I, who was our king at the time, and he was named Berkeley, Governor Berkeley. He was very, very friendly with the Indians, tried to treat them with humane, as we were taking their lands from them. However, Nathaniel Bacon, who I sold property to, and he built a house, and by the way, his house is still there today outside of Yorktown. You can go visit it. He decided he wanted more because Governor Berkeley was crooked. They were getting rich off the Americans. The taxation, everything, everybody was making money off of the poor people. So Nathaniel Bacon Jr. developed an army and demanded the ouster of Governor Berkeley. And when that didn't happen, he started attacking the different towns and the cities in and around the state. And he burned Yorktown to the ground. It was burnt completely, destroyed. When the Governor Berkeley sent out the Loyalist troops to attack him with orders to arrest him, he went and grabbed all of the prominent women of the people that were Loyalists. Anna is known as one of the ladies, white apron ladies. He used them as human shields. He placed all of the women in front of the ramparts so that they would not be fired on by the English troops. That is why she has the target, because she was placed in front, as were Philadelphia Ludwell Lee, who was related later on to General Robert E. Lee, who, by the way, Philadelphia Lee family married into my Ballard family, and she is a distant relative, as I am with General Lee. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But back to the Revolution. As Nathaniel Bacon was finally apprehended and he was brought before trial, I myself defended him at the trial. And I pleaded for mercy, forgiveness, and also a grant or a pardon, which we still have in your society today, from the king, if he pled guilty and if he apologized for everything that he had done, and he would back away from attacking and ousting the Governor Berkeley, which he did so, and he was therefore admonished. Later, he developed dysentery and died. I myself went on to become another term in the House of Burgesses, and I passed away. But what is convenient, getting back to your revolution, my great-grandsons were at the surrender of Cornwallis. They fought in the Virginia militia. I myself was a colonel in the Virginia militia at that time, but I was a loyalist. But my ancestors became patriots. And the word was spread that when Cornwallis surrendered, he refused to surrender his sword to General Washington. Therefore, he sent out his second with his sword to surrender because he was too embarrassed and too much of a gentleman to surrender. General Washington would not accept the sword. He sent out his second to receive the sword of Cornwallis. Whereupon a gentleman agreement was made. The English were allowed to leave Yorktown with honor, with dignity, and as they marched out of town, the fife and the band corps, as they marched, they played a song, and many of you may have heard it. It is called The World Turned Upside Down. Ballard, my direct line, his brother, Philip, and his other brother were all three there and fought with the Virginia militia. So I think it's important, and I'm so happy that we do this together as tracing our roots and our genealogy, because you never know what portion of your family may have touched history. And when I look back at mine, my line, how it affected the United States history and how we became a nation, based on just some of the things that I myself did and some of the things that my ancestors did. I'm the 11th great-grandfather of grandson of William Ballard. He is buried on a hill outside of Monroe County, West Virginia, on top of a mountain called Peters Mountain. His wife, Elizabeth Steppe, S-T-E-P-P-E. Some of you may have Steppes in your line. She is buried next to him. He died in 1799. And there are many other famous Ballards. Many of you may be familiar with Robert Ballard, who found the Titanic. That is my direct cousin. So, you never know what part of history is going to touch you. So I'm so thankful for the opportunity to share my family history, and hopefully some of you got some fantastic stories that we get to hear too. Thank you.